our pre for fucking chest day. We got some of the what the hell is it called? 1 second. Fruit punch. So let's get this going. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. Why in the hell is he listening to Selena Gomez? Well, let me tell you something. Hard style, slow and reverbed, any Lady Gaga song, any Katy Perry song, any basically white girl music is the power of where power comes from. And if you give it a try, oh my, you won't even understand the amount of capabilities your lips will be able to handle. So, put on some fucking Selena Gomez or Katy Perry, it's gonna help, trust me. And there are a lot of versions of type of songs, so mess around with music, and just we'll figure out what best works out for your ears. Okay, so right now I'm picking up these weights, as you can see, and I am, instead of pressing them in the opposite direction like a normal chest press, I rotated the dumbbell just now. I'm pressing and exerting inadvertently, so more pivoted and angled and triangulating my arms instead of, like I said, doing it the normal way. I'm doing this last set because this way because I'm just try and figure out some new things, and to be honest, I think these are pretty good. Not only do they work my forearms, but I feel like it brings in it brings my middle chest more inwards. So and it also helps me achieve a better squeeze. So as you can see here, I'm like dying, but I'm definitely gonna be using these more, and I think you should try to do those too. The bench press. Could not even complain about this lift, but I know it's just one plate at the moment, but I'm really just trying to, like I said, instead of pressing the weight, more of just focusing on the squeezing and the puff up of the chest. As you can see, my chest is rising, which I'm activating my chest as much as I can. And I do feel comfortable with the overhand grip, which, to be honest, try this at home if you want, but there is a big risk. For example, if this were to slip out of my hands right now, I'd be totally effed in the A. But making sure that my grip and my stability and my focus is in my hands right now, while when I go up too, I'm focusing on rising the chest, not just pushing the weight up. Yeah, so right now my chest is getting fatigued, and at the moment, what I'm about to engage right now, I'm not stopping. What I am and what you are seeing me doing is called a rest pause. I'm just taking a break in a second, and I know I got 3 more. Letting my chest and everything just drop down for a second, and then we are about to execute this again for 3 more sets. Or 3 more reps, my bad. This is definitely one of those machines where I feel comfortable filling my chest. More likely, I'm using this machine so that I can squeeze my chest together. I don't like loading heavy weight on this. What I do prefer is using dumbbells to do the heavy pressing, and as we can see, why I'm struggling on this machine. But as I am executing every rep that I do, I'm making sure that I'm, focusing on the center of my chest. The Batman symbol basically is an indication. That's why I like wearing superhero shirts. For example, with the Batman shirt, seeing the head of the bat disappear is what I want. Also, as you can see, I'm adjusting my back. I like shoving my neck into the bench, not arching my back as much, but kind of just locking my neck into the seat, and that's what kind of really helps me focus on that dip. As you can see, where my chest comes in, right there, and like I said, I'm still implying that Batman symbol, the center of the bat to disappear, but focusing on the squeeze, that little indentation, the more I focus on it, the more better the lift is going to be. Now, when I go up, just like as I'm doing right now, I get to the top and I'm just telling myself, just let it drop. Drop, push, and just, because once it goes down, I'm telling myself, I need to push it up. And that's why, and then as I'm pushing it up, I squeeze at the very top. Look at that chest pop. That is amazing. See, right now I'm contemplating if I should stop, but I know if I just drop the weight, my mind is going to be telling my other body parts to engage. Or not my other body parts, my bad. My chest to engage. And I try not to just focus on pressing the weight up. I really focus with my chest. Now, as you can see, my chest is starting to build an indentation like hella. And that's what focusing on the chest, bringing in your chest, and basically imagine a little Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, and his webs are amongst and spread out along your chest, and he's bringing them in. That's the goal. The goal in just, focusing on the dip. That's really what's important. Little chest bump there. Never been able to do this in my life. Sometimes you'll be seeing me a lot in my videos doing this, doing that movement, because like you see right there, I'm practicing the wedge between my chest. And doing the invisible sets like that really forces your muscle memory to really, not contemplate, how the muscle should move, but it's already working the muscle as it should be doing. For example, you see that indention? That is what you want. Explosive on the positive. And I know this is a Smith machine, but still, trying to get as many reps as you can while focusing on that squeeze in the center of the chest. And, when you go up too, you know that when you come down, you're going to have to press up. Because, you're here to train. I'm here to train. And knowing that, I'm pressing, drop it. Press. Drop it. Now, and I know it's not like 315, 405, or 225, but, it's still weight. And as long as it's manageable and I'm able to execute it and squeeze that indention, oh my God, that indention. As long as I'm able to, execute and, really think about those muscles working, and, try not to activate any other muscle to help assist with that chest. It's really important because your chest will end up trying to use other muscles to get the weight up. Also, grabbing one of these plates, when I was in wrestling, we would always grab sticks or little plates like these when we're doing push-ups or any other chest workout. And I like doing these because, after a good pressing movement, you really want to squeeze those chests together and really just exert a lot of force and tension in your chest. I got the fat grips on here. I like these because, one, for those of you who go to fatgrips.com, not sponsored by the way. But yeah, fat grips are pretty good. They kind of open up, wrap around the bar, just like that. And like I said, the fat grips, one, they help me grip the bar, and plus it also makes it more comfortable. I feel like I get more of a better range of motion. And on the fat grips, there are different types and sizes of fat grips that you could use. My recommendation is starting off with the ones I have, the smaller ones. But, the thicker the bar, the more mass and more muscle you'll build. But they do have thicker ones. And I've not seen those around where I live, which is not a problem. But, it'd be nice to see those and see other variations of the grip bar. But, as in correlation to how and why I use these is because, one, Jay Cutler really recommends using these. He said he even wished he had these, and that's the reason why I like using these, because you train your mass and the mass in your hands to grip the weight of the bar. I don't know how to explain this, but gripping thicker bars, I feel like anything grip really works your grip strength, which also works on your technique, as you can say. And it gives you more drive and more push. The infamous decline bench. This is my first time ever using this machine or this equipment, and to be honest, I feel like I would prefer these than doing dips. But I'm still a dip type of guy, but this is a whole other feeling. It works the more bottom portion of my chest, which I feel like I'm more stronger at. But you'll be seeing me do these a lot more. And if my form or anything looks off or anything, you let me know. Please let me know. And because I do read the comments, and I expect the feedback. The feedback is really important. But let's go ahead and do another set of it. Okay, so ideally we just got done doing 2 sets. Now we're gonna do another 2 set variation and then another variation after that. But only 2 sets each and then a drop set. Okay, so I know I'm in my shower right now, but what I do want to talk about is the cable. The cable variations that I've done was amazing, and to be honest, I'm gonna be fucking or messing around with the amount of the amount of not the amount of different exercises. You know, I'm gonna be fluttering around a lot. I'm gonna be talking more. Definitely gonna be engaging with you guys more. I feel like all I do is work out, and all you guys hear is, which is honestly like it's okay to watch me like work out and stuff, but you know, definitely gonna be talking more. So things are gonna be kind of being spiced up. And you know, if you are at the gym right now, you know, watching this, you know, and you know who you are, thank you so much for that recommendation. But yeah, using that chest and the flies, or using the bench for the flies was the greatest thing I could probably do and imagine. And also just, you know, firing more and putting more effort into my list. But I'm still gonna go ahead and continue the video, but I just wanted to let you guys know.
good, so it's good that she felt it.
Okay, so I got a V-bar, and I've seen this on one of the old school videotapes of working out that I had, and I forgot who did it, but usually you just get a dumbbell, you put it in between a V-bar, but unfortunately these weights at my gym, they do not fit within the correct measurements. So I tried 3 different types of V-bars, by the way, to fit it in there. As you can see, it's not fitting in, but that's okay because I have another variation. But what I do want to show you guys is basically the ideal message of this exercise. What I was supposed to happen was that the dumbbell was supposed to go within the middle of the V-bar, as you can see. So imagine a dumbbell between there, and you just keep the dumbbell and you just press like that. You just focus on that dip. And I was gonna do that, but unfortunately none of the dumbbells would fit in there. So ideally what I am gonna do is I'm gonna take a heavy dumbbell and not go all the way, but really just focus on the dip and squeezing the dip of the chest, as you can see as I'm doing here. Okay, so I got 90 pounds. I just upset it about 30 pounds from 60, and what we're doing is just focusing on bringing that chest together. Really just focusing on the dip between your chest. I've been saying dip a lot in this video, but with focusing on the dip, you'll achieve a lot in your chest exercises, and that's why I'm really just engaging as much as I can within this lift right here. Now I know what you're thinking, why is he on incline again? Well, after all of the flies and everything, the chest opens up and concaves inwards, right? So all the fibers open right now, and what I'm going to do is pressing and really just beating my chest outwards now. And I'm going to be doing a lot of rest pauses here. You'll be seeing here, in the rest pause, go over this again, is really just, you say you want to do 10, like I'm doing right now, right? And I stop at 7, right? Like right here, I'm about to do the rest pause. Taking a second and just really focusing, drawing back my energy. And the rest pauses are something that no one really talks about that much. And using this method, you'll achieve more volume and more intensity within your workouts, and if achieving failure. It's like a Kamehameha coming right now. Oof. All right. Today fucking amazing. I have absolutely zero complaints for today. We achieved. Actually, we did a lot of sets today. Usually, I don't even do this much sets or many chest workouts, but I can't really complain. But yes, I did change my shirt because I'm trying to go home. And I'm tired of being soaked up. Pulling up to my house. So got my other shirt on. But anyways, like I said, zero complaints for today. I just want to say, foremost, thank you so much for supporting me. And I had a really big guy, come up to me today, told me that he watches my videos and stuff. And I just want to tell you, thank you so much again for allowing me to do this and not be weird like how people are. And for you, you're fucking awesome. You told me I watch your videos and everything, and I like them, and keep it up. And you know what? You keep it up too yourself. You're definitely bigger than me, I'm more stronger, but these type of interactions are really, really great because it's like supporting a fellow gym member. I mean, this guy is huge. So, we're really taking everything, like I said, day by day, really pushing ourselves. Actually, really not pushing ourselves, but more of just riding the wave. I can't really tell. I don't think I'm gonna ever quit, to be honest. And the mentality that I have is really crucial because, it's not just about motivation, finding the motivation to go to the gym, to really, to get out there and try something new. It's more of a disciplinary action, And I always tell you guys this all the time. And, this goes for old people and young people too as well. Motivation is like lighter fluid. Okay, you only get so much of it, right? And it's there, trust me. But on the grand scale and the grand scale of things, like I said, motivation is lighter fluid. And when you barbecue and you're having a barbecue, your goals are your self-discipline. Maintaining the flame, it's going to be taking you farther than motivation. But you need that motivation still to go to the gym. And sometimes I'll be watching like Jay Cutler videos, fucking Lee Priest, Lee Hinman, Mike Mentzer, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Rich Piano, you name it. All the iconic fucking bodybuilders that have inspired me. Really just, and I'm not trying to copy anyone, but it's inspiration can really do a lot. And when you take inspiration and motivation and combine those two together, you get a great outcome. And those outcomes that are great, have big opportunities, lead you to greater opportunities. And that's when I'm realizing that the gym is really opening my eyes on a lot of things, and I'm starting to realize a few things and appreciate more of how far I've come and who I've met on the way, and again, 200 and almost 30 people who are watching. Thank you so much. I really do support you. That's why I make these videos, because I just want people to know that there's people out there like me who are just inspiring those around me to do better. And I think what's way better than showing up to the gym is, me motivating those to light a flame under their ass and really tell them that, to push themselves. And pushing yourself can take you far. But just keep doing what you're doing. All right. Appreciate how much you can do, and also appreciate too, like the fact that you're showing up to the gym every day. You're tired and you're still showing up. And I think that's the most important thing, is just showing up. Because when you walk through that door, you're already there. So why go home? Why turn around? So really, really just seal yourself in a box, just like James Harden says. You can cut off everyone. You can turn off your cell phone. You can start boxing in yourself and start focusing on what's really important. But depends on the type of person you are. But if you're the person who's like really just trying to push yourself and do better for yourself and improve yourself, you don't need to cut ties or stop talking. What I do suggest is if you are going to the gym and you are, if you are drinking or doing drugs or anything and still going to the gym, I heard to say there's really no point. I mean, there is a point, you will see results, yes, but if you want to reach your max capabilities and show yourself and improve yourself hell of 100%, you're going to need to cut all the distractions. And whether or not those distractions are good for you or bad, and if you lose friends because of it, or you lose, part of you that you're holding on to, just realize that you're doing it for the greater good. And sometimes the worst decisions that you can make for yourself are the best ones. And the best decisions you think you're making for yourself are the worst ones. So, go to your local gym and, just maybe go out with a week without drinking. If you drink on the weekends and you go to the gym, you're not drinking the week, maybe not drink, the whole weekend or the whole week, like I said, if you're going to the gym for like 5 days and you drink on Saturday and Sunday, maybe just cut it out for maybe 2 weeks and try it out. Try it out and tell yourself, wow, I can do this. And once you start seeing those little improvements, it'll open up your eyes more. So don't discourage yourself and really how far you've come, because a lot of people will look back at themselves and tell themselves that they're not worth it, or why am I even doing this, or why am I even trying in general. So just don't discourage yourself whatsoever. And most importantly, show up every day. You can show up and do at least 3 sets of whatever the fuck you want to do. Obviously have a well-structured based program, but take into consideration that you only have one life, and there comes to a point in everybody's age where you start slowing down on a lot of things. And if you're not keeping and maintaining perfect health, you'll start seeing shitty results. I'm sorry, but back to what I was talking about again. Alcohol reduces protein synthesis by 90%. So if you work out all week and then you go heavy on the drinking on the weekends, you're preventing your body from healing and building that muscle. And and if you there's a whole thing about the drugs part, but there's a few instances where cigarettes. If you're smoking cigarettes and you still go to the gym, I can guarantee you that you're definitely, if you stop for maybe a couple of weeks or a month, you'll definitely see an increase on your stamina and your endurance. And you'll clean out all that fucking gunk inside your lungs. And I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I'm just trying to tell you what I'm seeing and what I'm observing. And if you're doing steroids at a young age, or some guys, older fellows, it's okay because that's hormonal therapy and shit. But doing steroids at a young age is very bad. And this influencing community really doesn't really talk about. I mean, I'm not gonna say they don't talk about it, but it's really not a big thing about exposing the truth. And seeing these kids, doing themselves this way. You absolutely, when you get old and you stop doing all this, one, your muscle's gonna fucking be gone, because you're like SpongeBob. You're like inflating your arms, and you look big, you look strong, but it's temporary. And when you stop using, you slowly decrease, or it decreases your ability to make testosterone to itself. So if you're doing testosterone, just to lift heavy, nobody likes people who take shortcuts, right? The ability for you to really, if you really want to see 100% of what you can do, do it until you're about stay natural. You know, if you're on it, you know, my best recommendation, you know, and I don't do it myself. I don't like what the fuck, but I'm just thinking like, you know, if I was doing it, I wanted to stop and I wanted to, you know, see what I could do. I would definitely put in the work. And you know, for those guys who are, you know, really competitive, really, you know, take this to the iron soul, you know, just like me. But you know, I don't do what you do. You know, you'll see a more of a better outcome and more better results. So you know, don't rush any processes or anything, and you know, just you know, appreciate what you can do and who you are. Because you know, it's a really bad thing to really like lose your connection to yourself. But and you know, if you smoke weed or you do any other drugs, you know, I'm gonna tell you this right now: weed causes gyno. Gyno, and gyno is basically the titty fat at the end of your man tits. You know, you can be shredded, but you also have that, and that is a big factor that really delays people. And plus, it makes you tired, it makes you groggy, it messes up your brain. It's good, right? Because some people actually do need it. But most importantly, you know, if you're just doing it just because you want to do it, I'm not saying it's, you know, my best recommendation is just stop. For those who are having a hard time to stop, you know, do a trial. See if you can even do 7 days, or 2 weeks, or even a month. And if you like it and you see yourself improving, you know, maintain it. But for those who actually need it, we can totally discourage what I'm saying. But you know, still, it is a leverage and a factor that's leaning towards you not reaching your goals. And you know, I'll guarantee you that even if you get off it, you'll definitely become more cognitive. Your mind will be more clear. You won't be fucking clouded. You'll be more focused, and you know, you'll be great. And you know, it's just a really hard thing for you to accept that, you know, it's like, you know, oh, this guy's just talking rubbish. I'm just trying to help you, okay? And you know, for the older guys, you know, who are on it, you know, keep doing your shit. I'm proud of you. Showing up every day, just like today, as I talked to some guys, and, you know, I told them, you know, they're like, you know, I'm tired, I came from work, you know, I didn't want to come today, but I wanted to come. And I was like, you know, you didn't make the right decision, you still showed up, and that's what's important. But I'm gonna get out of here. Chest day was amazing. The flies, that's one of my probably peak moments of Taste Lift. We're definitely gonna keep doing those, but you know, basically what I'm trying to say for today is just, you know, don't hate and appreciate what you do. But when we get out of here, remember, you're beautiful, you're handsome, you're beautiful, you know, you're fucking strong, and you know, for showing up every day and improving yourself. You know, a lot of people don't do that, and you know, if you are doing that, you know, you keep it up. I don't want you to stop. I don't want you to look back and be like, you know, this is stupid or anything. You know, you keep going. You keep going and you keep pushing yourself to your max limits, because there are always walls to be fucking broken. And once you start breaking those walls, you know, your space will open up more. So, but I'm gonna get out of here. You already know what I'm gonna say. Make sure you hit the. Make sure you